What's up, dudes and dudettes? We're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to be looking at my favorite fighting game of all time, X-Men Next Dimension for the PlayStation 2. Doesn't this screen bring up memories, man? The full memory stick, the big towers coming out of the blackness, this friggin' noise, PlayStation. Oh, it sounds so good. I love coming back to this game. Anyway, X-Men Next Dimension is the the third. I want to say it's probably the third game in the X-Men fighting game series. I think it was called a Mutant Academy before this one. And this game, I think the other games were sort of a 2D fighter. This game they've made 3D, but it's not really. It's 3D, but it's sort of you don't want to fight really 3D. It's more all that really matters is this game is 3D. Um, so yeah, here we are. X-Men Next Dimension. Great cast of characters. Um, Super fun combat, great story mode. So yeah, story mode is actually narrated by Sir Patrick Stewart. It's kind of a Operation Zero Tolerance Sentinels versus mutant kind. It's really cool and probably the best story ever done in a fighting game as far as I'm concerned. Arcade mode just sees you fighting a bunch of enemies, and if you win after it's sort of a ladder. You fight Dark Phoenix, you win, you get a new costume for your character, and then you get a narrated bio for the character that you played as by Sir Patrick Stewart. Um, Versus mode is local versus. Survival mode is you fight till you drop. I believe if you pass a certain point, if you get a certain number of wins, you'll unlock another costume for your character. But practice mode is where we are going to be hanging out. And honestly, look at this lineup. This is a really solid roster. Um, my favorite character is Cyclops. He's amazing in this game. Uh, I think probably one of the most well-rounded characters, and for me, 100% the most satisfying. He the Cyclops sells the fantasy of sort of leader of the X-Men, unbridled force behind his eyes, just unleashing power. Um, in like no other Cyclops has been able to capture the fantasy of the character in the same way this one has for me. And that might be a little nostalgia talking, but I love him in this game. Um, Wolverine's pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of Wolverine in general, so Gambit's really fun to play. Storm is neat. She has a ton of weather-based powers. Beast is probably my third favorite character. He's super fun, tons of infinites. The character is just insane. Phoenix, meh. Toad is crazy, insanely powerful. Mystique, meh. She's got a gun, not that interesting. Sabretooth is dope. Sabretooth is super cool. Tons of grabs, really fun. Magneto, very meh. Nightcrawler's awesome. Tons of teleports, a lot of acrobatic attacks, got a sword, super cool. Um, Rogue hits like the truck. She's got a healing super. I love Rogue. Forge is kind of cool. Not really my bag. Juggernaut has tons of armor. He can't jump very high. You can't stop him. He's got a great looking level 4. Um, Betsy is really unfortunate. She's got a friggin' kick-ass costume, right? She's wearing the Crimson Dawn, which is super cool, but just not that great. Havoc is sort of a poor man's Cyclops. I like his costumes. He's got an old X Factor outfit, and he's got this Mutant X one he's wearing now. Lady Dextrike is super cool. I was really happy that she's just unique. She's got extending arms. She's just a super cool character. Um, Sentinel A and B, pretty boring. All said and done. Bastion is just sort of the poor stepchild of both Cyclops and Havoc. He's just not that great. Solid character, I would say, just not really unique in any way. Dark Phoenix, very much like Jean. Psylocke is just Betsy. I think she maybe has different animations and a couple different supers, but overall, kind of disappointing. Bishop is such a cool character, and they absolutely butchered him in this game. He has probably the coolest outfit in the game. He's got his Age of X outfit in this game, which is freaking awesome. Man, is he just disappointing. Blob, for as annoying as he is to play, is well realized. You can't throw him. He can't jump very high. He hits people with his belly and his butt. Like, dude, what more do you want if you've got Blob in the game? But okay, so I'm waxing philosophical, talking about all my my memories of these characters. We're gonna play as Cyclops against his brother Havoc, and we're gonna take it to the streets. Load times in this game are insanely long. So we're gonna just talk about some of the stuff that we're gonna talk about in this video. I'm gonna sort of lay it out there. So we're gonna talk about health. We're gonna talk about super meter. We're gonna talk about combat, sort of the strings. So this game is very much like Mortal Kombat, where you have sort of dial a combo, um, and each string will either lead to a bunch of different sort of outcomes if they land. So you have stuns, ground splats, bounces, launches, and air seeks. So that's sort of what you can. Oh, and then staggers as well. I forgot to mention that. Um, so yeah, there's a bunch of different outcomes, and yeah. Oh my gosh. Also, each map has a bunch of interactables. You can knock people into walls, into cars. If you're higher up in the zone of the map, you can knock them down and do damage, a lot like Dead or Alive. But for now, let's set our character, our opposing character, to tech back, so we can at least keep our combos true. And yeah. So here's the game. Oh, I'd like to shout out a couple of people. The Combo Knots videos for this game, I've been watching them for forever, and they've always been a source of inspiration as I make my own combo videos. Azrael's Sword on Game FAQs had put in an insane amount of time in the early 2000s digging into like the nuts and bolts of this game, and a lot of sort of what I've learned about this game. I've taken a lot of what he discovered and sort of incorporated it. Like strings that he was able to figure out before I actually went and bought the strategy guide from Prima like a couple of years ago, just because I love the game. So yeah, just messing around. And then VidFreak727 was another YouTuber that made some combo videos. Yeah, just like those are the people that sort of have inspired me, and I've always I'm thankful for them like giving me that inspiration so I can keep loving this game and pushing it further and further. But hey, yeah, so health is a lot like Darkstalkers. So if we set this dummy to beat the crap out of me, he will do so. There you go. So you notice I have a little red health there. Boom. So if I don't get hit for a little bit, you'll notice that it's starting to regenerate. Cool. So we're gonna let him knock me down. Oh, knock me down. There we go. So you have defensively, you have sort of you have get up attacks. You have you can tech. There you go. So there's a little tech. That roll is invincible. So you notice I just went right through his super. But we're gonna turn him off now because we don't want to get the crap beaten out of us anymore. Oh. Great. All right, so we're back to it. Oh my god, did I not do it? Dummy. Off. Action. Tech back. Good. So, you figured out the health. It's a lot like Darkstalkers. The super meter is actually what's really interesting. So, you have 4 levels of meter, and each level corresponds to a different super. So you have a level 1, a level 2, a level 3, and a level 4. Each meter takes longer to fill up. So actually, instead of doing this to our meter at max, let's set it to off so we can show it off. So there's 1 bar of meter, and then you can follow up after that combo. This is his level 2. You can follow up. And that's pretty quick. It hits from sort of a ground bounce. It's fairly quick. His level 3 is a big giant optic blast. And then if you fill the meter completely, you get access to your level 4, which on most characters typically does half-life. Each character has roughly 30,000 hit points. There's different defensive percentages, like I think Juggernaut, Blob, they take less damage, while the Pixie characters take more. Um, so yeah, there you go. And then another cool thing is you can actually move meter around. So if you are, let's say you've used this and you want to do another level 1, you can move meter around. So let's try that again, because I actually want to pull this off. There you go. So I've switched another. But yeah, there you go. I moved a bunch of meter around, and you can do that to get access to different meter, um, depending on what your combo situation is, which is really cool and interesting. And I love this system. I think it's awesome. It's such a joy to play with. Um, and you know what? I think that's it. I think that's what I'm going to talk about in the intro video. That way, next time we can dig into um, all the other stuff, because there's strings and how supers work with strings is really interesting and fun. So that's our intro video. Talked a little about sort of the game itself. Talked a little about the characters you can play, and showed off the health and meter system, as well as that's it. We showed off all those things. This is our first foray into X-Men Next Dimension. I hope you stick around, because this game is batshit insane and I want you guys to check it out. Anyway, talk to you guys later.